Hey everyone, like I said I was going to do a video on the Sabbath, on what to do. By the way, happy Shabbat Shalom. Hope everyone's doing good, keeping the law, such as commandments, and let's get right into it. If you can start with me, turn to Leviticus chapter 23. Okay, Leviticus chapter 23. And we will read all the way until verse 3. Okay? Leviticus chapter 23 to verse 3. Starting with Leviticus chapter 23, verse 1. And Yahuwah spoke unto Moshe, saying, also known as Moses, Speak unto the children of Yasharal, also known as Israel, and say unto them concerning the feast of Yahuwah, which ye shall proclaim to be holy assemblies, even these are my feasts. 6 days shall work be done, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of rest. So the seventh day is a day of rest. So on the Sabbath, we don't work, we don't labor, okay? You should be resting on the Sabbath. You shouldn't be working on the Sabbath. Now for me, I keep the Sabbath of Friday sundown to Saturday sundown, you know? And this is to be a weekly basis. This isn't just be kept once a month. This is to be kept on a weekly, single basis. For you keep the Sabbath. For many of us, because of what the church has taught us, we were told that we did not have to keep the Sabbath. Or if that was the problem, we were told this instead. We were told that that the law was done away with. You know, we didn't know the rules on how to keep the Sabbath. So therefore, it's left us lost. But thankfully, a lot of people are waking up. Hebrews are waking up. A Hebrew. I'm waking up. I didn't know I was a Hebrew until certain events. I may tell my testimony soon. But as of right now, we're going to be speaking on Sabbath. Now, if you can, turn with me to Isaiah chapter 58, verse 13 to 14. And I'll repeat again for those who haven't heard me the first time. Isaiah chapter 58, verse 13 to 14. Okay? I'll repeat it as many times as I need to. Let's see. Alright. Let's see. Here we are. Isaiah chapter 58, verse 13 to 14. And it says, If you turn away your foot from the Sabbath, from doing your pleasure on my holy day. So did you just hear that? If you turn away your foot from the Sabbath, from doing your pleasure on my holy day, and call this Sabbath a delight, the holy day of Yahuwah, honorable, and shall honor him, not doing your own ways, nor finding your own pleasure, nor speaking your own words, then shall you delight yourself in Yahuwah. And I will cause you to ride upon the high places of the earth, and feed you with the heritage of Yaakov, your father. If you don't know who Yaakov is, Jacob. For the month of Yahuwah has spoken it. So I'll read that again. So you see how blessed it is to keep the Sabbath day holy? You see how amazing it is to keep the Sabbath day holy? You see how special it is to rejoice in the Lord, not to do what's right before the Lord Yah on the Sabbath day holy? If you keep it, he'll cause you to ride on high places, right? Perhaps in the church, perhaps you hit a dead block, a wall, where you tried to get as close to the Lord, but it felt like you kept hitting walls all the time. It felt like you would try to do whatever you could before the Lord, and you just kept hitting walls, where you're just like, I'm trying to get close to the Lord, But I keep hitting walls all the time, you know? I'm trying to get to the higher level, but I don't know how to, you know? And here's the thing. The reason we don't know how to get to the higher levels in the Lord is because often in the church, we worship Him the way we want to. However, the Lord doesn't want us to worship Him in the way that we want to. The Lord wants us to worship Him in the way that He wants us to. Big difference. For I'll read it again. If you turn away your foot, sorry, let me say the chapter and the thing again. Isaiah chapter 58, verse 13. Let's start. Isaiah again, I'll say it. Isaiah chapter 58, verse 13. If you turn away your foot from the Sabbath, also known as the Sabbath, all right, from doing your pleasure, let's read again. Isaiah chapter 58, verse 13. If you turn away your foot from the Sabbath, from doing your pleasure on my holy day. So this says, if you turn away your foot from doing the Sabbath, from doing your pleasure on my holy day, and call the Sabbath a delight. So the Sabbath is a delight, an extreme delight. You should be happy. For one, who wants to not have a day off? Come on. Or multiple days off. You know? I mean, the man who doesn't work doesn't eat. But at least we see that on the Sabbath we can rest. This is great. We delight in the Lord on the Sabbath, for Him giving us a day of rest. If you turn away your foot from the Sabbath, from doing your pleasure on my holy day, and call the Sabbath a delight, the holy of Yahuwah, for it is the holy of Yahuwah, honorable, and shall honor Him, not doing your own ways. So on the Sabbath, we shall honor the Lord, not doing our own ways, not doing our own pleasure, nor speaking our own words. So let's say you want an example, for instance, let's say your own pleasure would be, I don't know, some people's own pleasure is working. Very few, but some people is. Or let's give another example, perhaps, some people's pleasure is, I don't really have to explain this to you. It says it right here. It says, shall honor Him, not doing your own ways, nor doing your own pleasure. Don't go on yourself, not keeping it holy in the Lord. Don't do it on yourself by not disregarding the Lord, okay? For it says, nor speaking your own words. So what does not speaking your own words mean? So keep it holy, and just honestly keep it holy. Go into the scriptures, study, okay? Read the word of the Lord, praise, worship Him, okay? Don't go in your own words dishonoring the Lord, or doing whatnot to not give any regardance to the Lord, okay? For it says, then start with Isaiah chapter 58, verse 14, then shall you delight yourself in Yahuwah, feed you with the heritage of Yahuwah, of your father, for the mouth of Yahuwah has spoken it. Let us go to Mark chapter 15, verse 32. Praise Yah, am I right? Praise Him, Yah. Mark. Come on, Mark. Mark chapter 15, verse 42. And now when the evening was come, again, Mark chapter 15, verse 42. And now when the evening was come, because it was the preparation, that is, the day before the Sabbath, Joseph of Ramah, an honorable counselor, which also waited for the kingdom of Yahuwah, came, and went in boldly unto Pilate, and craved the body of Yahusha. Now, I originally just wanted to stop at verse 42. So let's just recap back at the top. Gospel Mark chapter 15, verse 42. And now when the evening was come, because it was the preparation, that is the day before the Sabbath. Now you see, when it says now when the evening was come, because it was the preparation before the Sabbath. So what did they do the day before the Sabbath? They prepared, right? And in preparation you usually prepare food so that when the Sabbath comes, you're not cooking or something, you're not buying or selling or something, okay? You have prepared the day before on what you were to eat on the Sabbath. So I'll give you a good example of what this means. So let's say the day before the Sabbath you decide, okay, I'll go get cereal, I'll go get milk so that I could eat that on the Sabbath, right? Now, cereal's already prepared, okay? You don't have to cook it. Milk, the milk's there. You just put in the cereal, put in the milk, eat. Get your spoon, just eat, right? So we know that they prepared before the Sabbath, okay, to eat on the Sabbath. So they didn't cook, but they prepared in advance. And now let's go to Leviticus chapter 23. Okay, verse. If you can turn with me to the Leviticus chapter 23, verse 1 to 3. You'll be reading in the scripture based on the Sabbath right there. So Leviticus chapter 23. Again, I'll repeat Leviticus chapter 23. Leviticus chapter 23. Turn with me there. And Yahuwah spoke unto Moshe, saying, and I probably already read this, but Yahuwah spoke unto Moshe, saying, which Moshe means Moses, speak unto the children of Yasharel, say to them concerning the feast of Yahuwah, which ye shall proclaim to be holy assemblies. Even these are my feasts. 6 days shall work be done, but the seventh day is a Sabbath of rest, a holy assembly. You shall do new work therein. It is the Sabbath of Yahuwah in all your dwelling. Alright, now we're going to be going right through this. The next scriptures, I'm going to start reading them off to you. Starting off with Exodus chapter 20. Exodus chapter 20. Remember this. Exodus chapter 20, verse 8. Exodus chapter 20, verse 8. It says, remember, the day of the Sabbath is to keep it holy. So keep the Sabbath day holy. 6 days shall you labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of Yahuwah Elohika. In it you shall not do any work, you, your son, nor your daughter, your manservant, nor your maidservant, nor your cattle, nor your stranger that is within your gates. Okay, now let's turn to Exodus chapter 35. So remember, keep it holy. Now, if I said these scriptures before, I'm glad I revisited them again, so that it's knocked into your head, so you get it in your head. It's not a simple 1 hour to 2 hour day, where you could then do whatever you want, start buying and selling. No, it is the Sabbath day. You keep it holy, okay? You delight in the Lord Yah. You rest. It is a full 24-hour day. Let's go on. Starting off with Exodus chapter 35, verse 2. At this point, you should get it. So Exodus chapter 35, verse 2. 6 days shall work be done, but on the seventh day there shall be to you a holy day, a Sabbath of rest to Yahuwah. Whosoever does work therein shall be put to death. Ye shall kindle no fire throughout your habitations upon the Sabbath. Wow. Do I need to speak on that? You know, I'll speak on it. It's okay. Like it said, 6 days work. 7th day, keep the Sabbath. Now, whosoever does work on the Sabbath to be put to death. So there is a big penalty back then for those who didn't keep the Sabbath day and work. right? They were put to death. And the thing is, why would you want to work on the Sabbath day anyways, when we just went over in the scriptures where it said that the Lord will cause you to ride on high for keeping the Sabbath? For ye shall kindle no fire throughout your habitations upon, for ye shall kindle no fire throughout your habitations upon this Sabbath. So for instance, I'll give you an example. I got noodles, right? Let's say I want to boil some noodles. I put noodles and then I put on the fire. That's a no-no. You should not kindle no fire on the Sabbath. So if you're using fire to cook, do not, no. You eat what you did in preparation. So do not start the fire to cook, because that is also labor. That is also a sign of work. Then we'll go one more. Now turn me to Exodus chapter 31. Exodus chapter 31. Exodus chapter 31. It says here in Exodus chapter 31 verse 12. And Yahuwah spoke unto Moshe, saying, Speak also unto the children of Yahshua, saying, Truly, my Sabbath ye shall guard, for ye shall guard the Sabbath. For it is a sign between me and you throughout your generations. So you're supposed to be keeping the Sabbath forever. That ye shall guard the Sabbath, therefore it is holy unto you. Everyone that defiles it shall surely be put to death. So don't even think about defiling the Sabbath. For whosoever does any work therein, that soul shall be cut off from among his people. So keeping the Sabbath day was massively important. 6 days may work be done, but in the seventh is the Sabbath of rest, holy to Yahuwah. Whosoever does any work in the Sabbath, he shall surely be put to death. Wherefore the children of Yahshua guard the Sabbath, to keep the Sabbath throughout their generations for a perpetual covenant. It is a sign between me and the children of Yahshua forever. If you lost your place with me, that is Exodus chapter 31 verse 17. It is a sign between me and the children of Yahshua forever. For in 6 days Yahuwah made the heavens and the earth, and on the seventh day he rested and was refreshed. Okay? And he gave, in Exodus chapter 31 verse 18, and he gave unto Moshe, when he had made an end of communing with him upon Mount Sinai, 2 sapphires of testimony, sapphire stones written with the finger of Elohim. Well, brothers, there you have it. So there is no reason at all, New or Old Testament, that you should not keep the Sabbath. For the Old Testament has told you to keep the Sabbath, the New Testament has told you to keep the Sabbath. The Old Testament told you to keep the law, the New Testament told you to keep the law. There's no disputing it, there's no debating it. This is scripture. You know? Some of you disregard the Old Testament completely and say, we don't need to keep the law. We only need to keep the 10 Commandments, which most of you even don't even keep the 10th commandment. You mostly just, you don't even keep the Sabbath. You keep the 1 hour, 2 hour service, and you do whatever you want after that. Come on now. Old Testament has told you, hey, you need to keep the Sabbath. You need to keep my Torah. You need to keep the law, statutes, commandments, dude. New Testament said, hey, you need to keep, Yahshua Mashiach said himself, I have not come to remove the law. I came to fulfill the law. Fulfill the law. You fulfilled the law of animal sacrifice, okay? The laws are still in place. The dietary law is still in place. You know you can't eat bacon. You know you can't eat pork. You know you can't eat shrimp. You know you can't eat swine flesh. Come on now. Alright, well. That is all. That is it. Happy Shabbat. Happy Shalom. Hopefully this is very edifying. And yes, praise to Yah. Amen.